The top 13 ways to find cash buys for your wholesale property so you can close the deal and get cashed out in as little as a couple of days. And make sure you stay to the end because I'm gonna give you guys the secret sauce that top wholesalers and gurus don't tell you about. I'm going to explain to you guys one of the most efficient ways that some of these top wholesalers find a certain group of cash buyers who are willing to pay even more than the average cash buyer would pay, so they get these huge assignment fees even on tight deals. So make sure you stay tuned. What's up guys, my name is Lillian Chukwueze, and if you're new to my YouTube channel, welcome to the family. I drop multiple videos every week about real estate, entrepreneurship, investing, and personal finance. So if any of those topics interest you, this is the right place for you. All I ask is that you please like the video and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and hit the notification bell so you can get notified when I drop the next video. So let's get into it. Have you ever gotten a wholesale deal under contract and you haven't been able to sell it? I know a lot of wholesalers deal with that, and it's probably because of a few things. One of them being that it's probably really not a deal. So you might not have your numbers dialed in properly as far as ARV and the offer that you made. That might be a little bit off. However, other reasons why you might not be able to sell is because you simply don't have enough buyers on your buyers list, or you don't have the right buyers on your buyers list. So how do you make sure you can sell a deal once you get it under contract? Number one, make sure you have a good deal. Make sure you're analyzing and comping these properties and pricing them accordingly, according to the market and what's going on. You gotta make sure your numbers are really dialed in. The next thing you gotta do is you gotta build a big buyers list. You gotta build your list to as many people as you can immediately. You gotta do this and continue to do this as you're continuing to grow your wholesale business. Don't ever stop, because people and buyers are constantly entering and exiting the market. So you gotta be able to continuously build your buyers list from a few to hundreds and to eventually thousands. The best wholesalers and the best investors are able to basically have a lot of more options because they have a big enough buyers list and they have the right type of buyers on their buyers list. So in this video, I'm basically gonna show you how to build a big enough buyers list and how to have the right buyers on your list. The first way to find cash buyers is Bandit Signs. Now this is something that has been going on for years. You see them everywhere saying either we buy houses or basically advertising a property for sale. And that's a great way to do it. All you need to do is pretty much go on a website, find some signs. I know a resource that we used to use was dirtcheapsigns.com. Basically all you do with these Bandit Signs is you write something like 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, fixer-upper, $50,000, cash, call me now, something like that. So basically advertising a really, really good deal. And if you don't have a property, you simply say, hey, this one actually just sold, but I do have more coming. Would you like me to add you to my buyers list? Or if you do have it actually in your inventory, obviously that's a way for you to get a buyer for that property. So definitely Bandit Signs is a really good way of doing so. I prefer Bandit Signs to use for sellers, but in this case, you can definitely use Bandit Signs to find buyers as well. And just a tip, when you're using these Bandit Signs, you definitely want to put them in high traffic areas. So you could put them, at the end of like certain stores that you're gonna find investors, like Home Depot, certain like heavy traffic areas like intersections and things of that nature. You definitely wanna be strategic as to where you place these Bandit Signs to reap the most benefits. The second way to find cash buyers is to call local realtors in the area and see if they work with investment properties and if they have cash buyers on their list. And you can do this by simply searching on Zillow or any site that has agents on there and just call and simply ask, hey, do you have any cash buyers that you work with? I have a property that they might be interested in, and then you can basically coordinate the deal from there. Another way to find cash buyers is to use different software such as Propstream, where you could basically pull a list of local transactions in the area that you have a property under contract in and basically call and see who might be interested in this property. And the great thing about that is that because you're pulling cash transactions, these people have most likely flipped the property and they might be looking for more. So that's another way to find cash buyers. Now, if you don't have a software like Propstream, you can use something like Zillow or Redfin and basically look up recently flipped properties in the area. And you can basically do that by filtering it down to recently sold properties within the last year, and just look, depending on the pictures, if these properties are flipped. And you usually can tell by it being completely renovated and vacant, and also staged. So that's a way that you could tell if it's recently flipped. Now, the fifth way to find cash buyers is to contact for rent by owners. What you can do is basically go on sites like Zillow and Redfin and look for properties that are for rent and contact these homeowners and ask them if they're looking for any more properties to add to their rental portfolio. That's a really great and simple way to find cash buyers for free. Now, another way, the sixth way to find cash buyers, is a little bit more intricate, but you'll definitely get some good, high quality and vetted cash buyers by doing this. Basically, to find tax records. So what you want to do is basically go through the tax records of old wholesale properties that other wholesalers have sent to you, because in this time period you are networking with wholesalers as well, or at least I would hope so. Basically look for these people who closed on these old properties that wholesalers sent you, and from there you can literally just skip trace the address and get the number to the buyer and simply call and ask them if they're looking for any more investment properties, and you know that they are clearly an investor because they closed on the property for sure, so you know that they are an end buyer. Now, the seventh way to find cash buyers is to go to your local auction. Now, I know it really varies by county right now because of COVID and you know, things being shut down. But if things are still up and running in your location, a great way to find cash buyers is to go to your local auction and sit in on the auction basically and see who is bidding for properties. Once the auction is over, basically go up to these people and network. Ask them if they're looking for other properties, you know what I mean? Because obviously one person is gonna walk out with a property that they bid on, but not everybody will have an opportunity to buy a property that day. So you definitely, even you want to network with the person, especially the person who bought a property that day. You just want to go to them and ask them, hey, you know, what type of properties are you looking for? I come across this kind of properties all the time, and just put them on your list. That's a really great way to get people who definitely have cash and are ready to go and buy some wholesale properties. The eighth way to find cash buyers is to basically look at other wholesale websites in the area. So there's gonna be other wholesalers, bigger wholesalers than you probably, that are basically doing more volume, and you can find them because all you have to do is Google them. What I would say is just type in Google, like for me, in being in Philadelphia, I would Google wholesale properties Philadelphia, and I'm sure I would come across a bunch of different wholesale websites. And what I would do is basically contact these other wholesalers and see if they're looking to actually buy your property, because some wholesalers also close on deals themselves. There's other ways to wholesale properties, so they might close on a deal and then sell it themselves, or they might just be willing to just co-wholesale with you or JV with you and get it off that way. So either way, you should definitely contact other wholesalers in your area and see if they're looking to buy your property or joint venture with you. The ninth way to find cash buyers is Craigslist. Now, how you find cash buyers on Craigslist is very simple. All you have to do is look for these properties that people list their wholesale properties on Craigslist all the time. All you have to do is contact these people and see if they're an investor and if they want more properties. Now, the 10th way is Facebook Marketplace and Facebook groups. Now, when you post on Facebook, you're likely to get less quality buyers. However, you'll get a higher volume of buyers, especially if you put it on Facebook Marketplace. I can't tell you how many messages I get when I put a property on Facebook Marketplace. I get at least 100 messages in the first 2 days, especially if it's a good deal. So I highly recommend you put your deals on Facebook. Now, whether you want to disclose the address or not is really up to you. But that is a very, very easy way to get tons of buyers. And then from that point on, you definitely want to vet them and see if they're serious. Now, the 11th way is, as I just mentioned, basically is to join your local REIA. Now, in my REIA, which is my Real Estate Investing Association, I'm able to basically post my deals, and they will send out an automatic email notification to everybody else who is a part of that association, letting them know that there's a new deal on the market. So that is a great way to find cash buyers, and these are definitely legit people because you have to pay to get into these associations. So anytime you know, you have to pay for something, you usually kind of get out the people who aren't serious. So if you're able to join your local Real Estate Investors Association and they have that feature where they do send out properties to other investors, and that's a great way to get cash buyers, as well as being able to go to these events that they have and network with people and just see who's actively doing the business. Now, the 12th way to find cash buyers is title companies. Now, I personally haven't been able to find too many buyers from title companies. I also haven't been actively pursuing title companies to find cash buyers because I used some of the other ways, but I have heard of people going to title companies and simply asking them to connect them with other investors in the area that are actively doing deals. And typically title companies don't have an issue doing that, because if you're a wholesaler and you're asking them to connect you with end buyers, basically that'll end up bringing them more money and more deals, which is in favor to them. All right, guys, the moment we've all been waiting for, the 13th way and the last and most effective way that some of these top wholesalers and gurus are getting crazy deals are basically institutional buyers or iBuyers. Now, let me break this down for you. So iBuyers are basically an entity that pulls money together to buy investments. That's all it is. Group of people that pull money together and buy investments. Now, the benefits are that you get a higher sales price even on tighter deals. And the reason that you're able to basically get more money on tighter deals is because some of these iBuyers are specifically focused in certain areas and they're more willing and able to pay a little bit more on a property versus a typical cash buyer who needs to stay strict to that typical value formula of ARV times 70% minus repairs. Some of these iBuyers will pay as much as 80 or 90% of ARV, which is really, really helpful. I know some iBuyers and some people that are working with institutional buyers that are willing and able to pay up to 100% of ARV. So they definitely have more flexibility when it comes to being able to buy a property. That's why it's kind of like the secret sauce when it comes to selling, wholesale deals to these iBuyers, because they can just pay more and really get you out of a bind. And another great thing about these iBuyers, they're consistently purchasing in specific areas and they're well funded. So you'll always have this iBuyer, this particular buyer who's always going to be looking in this area for the most part, obviously until they change their buy box or different requirements that they have for purchasing. And that's something you definitely want to stay on top of. So you know what kind of deals to basically give them. Now, although they pay a lot more and they are consistently purchasing, there are some drawbacks that come with working with iBuyers. And one of the drawbacks is custom paperwork. Normally when you're doing a wholesale deal, you'll have a one-page contract with the seller, one-page contract with the buyer, and it'll be very simple. However, when you have a contract with an iBuyer, it's very detailed and it's pretty much custom to how they want to do the deal. It really depends. If it works out for you, great, but you got to be willing to go through the contract and see any stipulations or any contingencies that might not be in favor of you. But at the same time, you got to be kind of willing to work with them because they are the buyer. So it really depends. You got to make sure you're in a good position to win and they're in a good position to win when working with these iBuyers. It's more of a longer process dealing with them, but the benefit is that you could get paid a lot more, but there are stipulations and different things that come with it. So I'm just giving you guys things to consider when working with institutional buyers. And as I mentioned before, you definitely want to be able to find out their buy box and understand exactly what type of properties that they're looking for. Because otherwise, if you're selling them properties that aren't in their buy box, you're just wasting your time and you're wasting their time. And you want to build a good relationship with these iBuyers if you're going to continue to use them. Now, you guys are probably asking, well, how do you find these iBuyers? One main way to find iBuyers is simply Google. Simply Google whatever your state or town is, and then institutional buyers. For example, I would Google Philadelphia real estate institutional buyers or Philadelphia real estate hedge funds, something along those lines, and you may or may not come up with some things. That's the first way that you definitely want to try to find iBuyers. The next way to find iBuyers is simply to go to your city or county map. I know that I was testing this out in Jersey and I was basically able to find the city map, Camden, New Jersey, and I was able to look at specifically every house individually and see the owner of the house. So once you see that the owner is like a specific entity and you see that amongst 20, 30, 40, hundreds of houses, this is an iBuyer. This is not a traditional buyer, because traditional buyers don't buy hundreds of properties. You can just get in contact with them and see if they're looking to purchase more properties. And if you don't have access to a city or county map based on your tax assessor site, you could definitely use LandGlide, and this app is really, really good and cheap. It'll basically give you all the information you need when it comes to finding the information of a property and a property owner. So I definitely recommend using that app. And the last way that I know that you can find institutional buyers is to go to Bizopedia.com. So yeah, guys, those are all the different ways that you can find cash buyers. I hope that you pick a couple. You don't have to do all of them. Trust me, you don't need to do all of these ways. Simply just pick a few, pick 2 or 3 strategies on finding cash buyers, stick with them consistently, and build your cash buyer database so you have as many buyers as possible and the right type of buyers in your list, so you have the best opportunity to sell your wholesale deals for the most amount of profit. I hope that really helped you guys. Now you have a plethora of ways to choose from. If you like this video, please like it. Comment, let me know what you think about it. Subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you are notified when I drop the next video. I talk all about real estate, entrepreneurship, investing, and personal finance. And I'm really here to just help you guys out and provide the knowledge and value that I was given and that I also paid for. But I'm here to just help you guys out as much as I possibly can. So let me know in the comments other types of videos that you would like for me to make so I can help you out along your own investing journey or agent journey, whatever one that you're on. And I will be glad to make those videos for you guys. So I will see you guys on the next video. Stay safe, stay blessed, and I'm out.